I'm always delighted to be with Saul News. This has been such a leader in the conservative movement and the Republican Party.
Welcome to the Saul's Newsstand News Rewind for April 29th, 2022. An article from Fox Business reports, U.S. economy shrank 1.4% at the beginning of 2022, marking worst quarter in 2 years. Gross domestic product, the broadest measure of goods and services produced across the economy, shrank by 1.4% on an annualized basis in the 3-month period from January through March, the Commerce Department said in its first reading of the data on Thursday. Economists had expected the report to show the economy had expanded by 1.1%. It marked the worst performance since the spring of 2020, when the U.S. economy was still deep in the throes of the COVID-induced recession. The latest data comes amid growing fears on Wall Street that a recession is looming in the next 2 years as a result of the Russian war in Ukraine, soaring inflation, and an increasingly hawkish Federal Reserve. With the Consumer Price Index at a 40-year high, the U.S. Central Bank is moving quickly to raise rates in an effort to cool demand. The Hill reports, dismal polls have Dems split over how hard to push Biden agenda. Democrats are divided over how hard to push President Biden's agenda in the months remaining until Election Day, uncertain about how much risk to take on at a time when Biden's approval rating is stuck just above 40%. Democratic lawmakers are growing increasingly pessimistic about scoring a big legislative victory and are split over whether it makes sense to force so-called messaging votes on the Senate floor to draw contrasts with Republicans on key issues such as expanding access to child care, programs to fight climate change, and prescription drug reform. Senator Elizabeth Warren and other progressives still want to pack elements of Biden's Build Back Better agenda into a budget reconciliation bill that could pass with 50 Democratic votes. She and other progressives also want Senator Chuck Schumer to bring pieces of Biden's agenda to the floor under regular order and force Republicans to block them. And finally, an article from Fox News states, Pence Group launches Freedom Agenda to promote American prosperity, stop the radical left. Former Vice President Mike Pence's advocacy organization is releasing a freedom agenda for conservatives focused on promoting a positive and traditional view of America and pushing back against progressive policies being pushed by the Biden administration. The agenda has 3 pillars: American opportunity and economic opportunity, American strength and leadership on the world stage, and American culture. The pillars, which contain goals and how to achieve them, range from ensuring American energy dominance, to reducing taxes, to returning education to parents, to promoting individual liberties, and to protecting life. Former Vice President Pence said that the Republican Party must rally around a bold, optimistic agenda from the Reagan administration to the Trump administration, explaining that idea was the genesis for the Freedom Agenda. The agenda is designed to be a compelling vision focused on the future for citizens, activists, and men and women across the country, according to the former vice president. You can learn more by visiting advancingamericanfreedom.com. And that concludes your Saul's Newsstand News Rewind for April 29th, 2022. For more political news faster, visit saulsnews.com.